Check this out. This couple is seriously impressive. The creek right by their house turns into a river every rainy season. Old folks and kids have to wade through freezing cold water just to get out. They didn't ask the village for help or collect any money. Didn't use any construction equipment. Just their own 2 hands and a machete. They managed to build a bamboo bridge that will benefit future generations. They got right to work. They went upstream to the bamboo forest to cut bamboo. Don't think cutting bamboo is a simple job. There's a lot more to it than you might think. The couple told me to build a bridge you have to use mozo bamboo that's been growing for exactly 3 years. Younger bamboo has loose fibers. It can't hold much weight. It wobbles when you walk on it and could snap at any moment. Older bamboo gets dry, hard and brittle. It cracks easily under a little pressure and falls apart after just a few years. Only 3-year-old mozo bamboo has the perfect balance of flexibility and strength. It's the ideal material for building a bridge. They carefully inspected each bamboo stalk in the forest, picking only the ones that grow straight, have no bug holes, and no scars or blemishes. After cutting them down, they carefully removed all the branches, leaving only the thickest main stalk to save energy and to avoid damaging the bamboo. While carrying it, they didn't carry it straight home. Instead, they used the creek's buoyancy, letting each bamboo stalk float downstream right to their doorstep. This small trick might not look like much, but it holds the simple wisdom of working people. Besides bamboo, they also cut down a few old square timbers as thick as an arm from the mountain. These timbers were used for the bamboo bridge's posts and main beams. They have to hold the entire weight of the bridge deck, so they had to pick the hardest, most rot-resistant wood. After all the materials were brought to the site, they moved on to the most tedious and skill-testing processing stage. This couple, who have lived together for decades, worked together flawlessly. A single glance and they knew what the other would do next. The man was in charge of cutting grooves into the timbers, and the woman was in charge of cutting the long bamboo into short pieces all exactly the same length. A lot of people think cutting grooves is just hacking away with a machete, but that's not true at all. This is a real skill-intensive job. If you cut the groove too deep, it weakens the timber. If you cut it too shallow, it won't hold tight, and it will get loose over time. The man held his machete and chiseled steadily, stroke by stroke. Every cut was precise and strong. The grooves he carved out were perfectly square, with clean, sharp edges. The woman wasn't about to be outdone. She sat on a little folding stool and skillfully sawed the bamboo. Every piece came out exactly the same length, as if measured with a ruler. Just cutting the bamboo and timbers into the right sizes wasn't enough. They also had to carve matching grooves into both ends of each piece, so that when they assembled it later, they could fit them together like building blocks, perfectly tight. This 1,000-year-old mortise and tenon technique uses not a single nail, yet makes the structure incredibly strong. You have to admire the wisdom of the ancients. Right when the couple was working hard, gossip started spreading through the village. Almost nobody believed they could do it. Sarcastic comments and ridicule were everywhere. Some people stood on the bank watching from a distance and said with a smirk, "These 2 old folks are really dreaming. Building a bridge, is that a job for you? Don't end up falling into the river and becoming fish food before the bridge is even done." Others said, "This is just pointless fussing. How sturdy can a bamboo bridge be when the next heavy rain comes and the upstream floodwater hits? I guarantee there won't be a trace left. All that work for nothing." Even worse, some directly said they were desperate for attention, doing all this flashy stuff just to show off. Faced with all this harsh doubt and mockery, the couple didn't argue back one bit. They knew arguing with people was pointless. Only by actually building the bridge could they shut everyone up. After all the materials were processed, the real main event began: building the bamboo bridge foundation. This is the most basic and most important part of the whole project. If the foundation isn't stable, no matter how nice what you build on top is, it's useless. It will collapse eventually. Surprisingly, the first one to go into the water was the woman. Without a word, she rolled up her pants and stepped right into the freezing creek. The creek wasn't deep, but the water was still bone-chilling cold since it was just early spring. The moment she put her legs in, she couldn't help but shiver, but she gritted her teeth and pushed through. She first leveled a solid spot on the creek bed, then placed 4 pre-processed bamboo stalks to form a square frame. Next, she inserted a few wooden crates into the 4 corners of the frame, then used thin bamboo to tie the whole frame tightly in place to keep it from being washed away by the strong current. After the frame was set up, they started filling it with rocks. These rocks were all picked up one by one from the riverbank. bank by the couple ahead of time. Each rock weighed over 10 pounds. The woman pushed a little cart, hauling loads of rocks to the creekside trip after trip. Then she bent down and moved them into the water one by one, carefully filling them into the frame's grooves. The fuller and tighter the rocks are packed, the more stable the foundation. So she packed them very carefully, even filling every tiny gap with small pebbles. The man wasn't idle on the shore either. He carried the processed timbers to the creek, ready to install them at any time. Once the rocks in the first foundation reached the planned height, the couple worked together to lift the heavy timber and set it steadily into the groove left at the top of the foundation. Then they filled the area around the timber with rocks, locking it in place firmly. Next, they installed the second timber the same way, then used planks to connect the two timbers horizontally, and with that, the first post structure of the bamboo bridge was complete. The foundation on the opposite side followed the exact same process. First build the square frame, then insert bamboo to reinforce, then fill with rocks, finally install the posts to finish the bridge. Before the next heavy rain came, the couple started working at first light and kept at it until sunset. Aside from a quick lunch, they barely rested at all, working non-stop at high intensity for a full 8 hours. Watching them hustle in the video, I was truly moved. The woman's pants legs never dried from morning to night. The freezing creek water left her legs red and purple. The man got several big blisters on his hands. Some had already burst and were bleeding, but neither of them complained about being tired. Neither said a word about giving up, as the two sturdy foundations stood firmly on both sides of the creek. The attitudes of those villagers who had been making snide remarks slowly began to change. At first they just watched from afar, treating it like a joke, but later a few people started coming closer to see what was happening. After the foundations and posts were finished, they reached the most dangerous and challenging part of the entire building process: installing the main beams. These main beams were made from the thickest old square timbers. Each one weighed a few hundred pounds. No crane, no hoist, not even a pulley. It all depended on the couple's two hands, lifting such heavy timbers onto posts several meters high. You can imagine how hard that was. They came up with the simplest but most effective method. First, they struggled to get one end of the timber onto the post of one foundation. Then each of them stood on one bank and pushed at the same time, shouting in rhythm, inching the timber toward the opposite bank. This process was extremely dangerous. If they lost their balance even a little, they could fall together with the timber into the rushing creek. Because the woman had less strength, she almost fell several times during this process. Once she even fell flat on the ground. The last step was laying the deck planks. The couple brought the pre-cut wooden boards and laid them one by one from this end of the bridge to that end neatly. Every time they laid one, the man would take out screws and hammer them firmly into the main beam below, making sure every board was completely still and absolutely safe. The sun was setting. Golden light fell on the brand new bamboo bridge, giving off a warm wooden glow. Looking at this bridge they had built entirely with their own hands, the couple smiled at each other. All the hard work, all the sweat, all the frustration at that moment turned into pure happiness and a sense of achievement. Even though this bamboo bridge isn't as strong and durable as a concrete bridge and doesn't have fancy decorations, it was built with the couple's love and sweat. It not only connects the two sides of the creek, connects a family's hope, but also shows us working people's simplest and greatest craftsmanship spirit. Now this bamboo bridge has become a scenic spot in the village. Kids run back and forth on the bridge, laughing and playing. Elderly folks sit by the bridge cooling off and chatting, relaxed and content. The villagers all say, "Thank goodness for this capable couple. Now we never have to worry about wading through water on rainy days again." Of course there are some different opinions online too. Some say no matter how sturdy bamboo is, it's no match for steel and concrete. It will need major repairs in just a few years. They might as well have pooled some money to build a concrete bridge and be done with it for good. Others say the couple was really foolish, putting in so much effort to build a bridge, only to benefit the whole village in the end. And some say they just made this video to get views and attention. Otherwise, who would do something so thankless? As for these arguments, I don't want to judge too much. All I know is, when everyone was making sarcastic comments, this couple solved the problem with real action. When everyone was waiting to see them fail, they created a miracle with their own hands. This bridge might not be perfect, but it is surely the warmest bridge in the world. If a perfect score is 10, how many points would you give this amazing couple? How many points would you give this bamboo bridge?